Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm Mike Lowe, and this is NBA 2K23, and we are doing a bit of an experiment. I saw a really interesting tweet from Ben Steiner, who said that if Las Vegas needs an NBA team, there's no need for an expansion draft. He lists out the roster that would include the available free agents and says just gave them a 32-win team from free agents. So I thought that was interesting, and so I said, well, let's give it a shot, at least here, the closest thing we could ever do something like that, which is in NBA 2K23. So this roster here is exactly the roster that Ben has assembled. Carmelo Anthony, Cousins, and so on, including a manually downloaded. I had to find J.R. Smith, who I had to edit a little bit to kind of bring him back from the 23-year-old version of J.R. Smith down to the, or up, I guess, to the 37-year-old version. But other than that, these are just the free agents in game. The only other players that are on this roster are just some guys that I could not cut for whatever reason. There's like 4 guys, 2 of them been sent down to the G League. They were just kind of leftovers from the pseudo expansion draft I had to do just to get this team in place. So yes, it was an expansion draft just to get the 31st team in here on opening night. But at the end of the day, it's really not. It's a team of all free agents that Ben laid out. And our goal here is to see if we can get to 32 wins, like Ben has mentioned here. And I was really curious to see, figured some of you might be as well. Everything here is just set on default. Injuries for this are set to, we're going to do 2 of these simulations. We're going to do one with injuries on and one with it off. And I think right now they're off. Yeah, so injuries are off in this first simulation. And we're going to just see how it goes. Chemistry sitting at 60, fan interest 100% with an expansion team. And we are set to go here with our Las Vegas expansion team. So let's get through and simulate the regular season. We're going to disable all this because our goal here is just to keep the roster assembled as is, right? We don't want too many changes. So far, not bad. They're 500, 8-7 now, over 500. So moving along, team chemistry is in great shape. Team chemistry on default in this game, by the way, it's probably a little too easy to keep in really good standing. I highly recommend bringing that down. If you're curious to see the settings I'm using, I do have a YouTube video with my NBA 2K sliders that I've been working on. Could be various videos by the time you're watching this, but nonetheless, if you're curious how to make that a little bit more challenging, I do have some suggested sliders that you can see. But here we are approaching the new year. The team is 16-19, not bad. They are in pretty good shape to potentially get to 32 wins. We'll see. They're about halfway there now. And they're losing a bunch of games now. So we just jinxed them. Oof, they've had a rough go here. They're down to 17-30 now. Not looking great. The chemistry, though, through the roof. Fan interest starting to fade. Team is now 20-32. We're not going to stop for All-Star or anything, really, or the trade deadline here. Just skip through that. 15 games below 500 now, 20-35. Again, this is with injuries off, just the roster as is. We're not making any trades. The other teams might be, right? I didn't really do anything else. Just we're letting the league live and breathe here in the background, just seeing if we can get to that 32 win mark. We're getting close. 28-43 now. 30-44, 30-45, 31. Can we get one more win? Come on. Oh, we did not. 31 wins, so one short. Pretty darn close, though. I don't really expect to see any Las Vegas players here on any of these lists. Not even the rookie one, because we didn't really have any rookies on this team of old free agents. So nothing there, and just confirming we didn't make the playoffs. Not a surprise there. But let's just look and see how we did here in the Western Conference. So 37.8, almost 38% winning percentage. That's not bad at all. 20 games below 500, better than the Spurs, Jazz, and Rockets. And in the Eastern Conference, we were also better than, at least Detroit, tied with the Knicks and Magic there. So point differential, negative 6.9. That's not bad. Again, some of the other teams were much lower, so really we could have been an even better team here and certainly gotten to that 32-win threshold. This team was just brutal on the road, 9-32. They had a winning record at home, So that's pretty cool. That home field advantage, fan interest maybe played a role there. So pretty close again with injuries off. And we're going to do one more just to kind of make sure we're not just looking at a too small of a sample size here. And let's look at some per game stats here. J.R. Smith played in every game. So did Rondo and Carmelo Anthony. Again, injuries off, not a huge surprise. All 5 starters played in every single game. Minutes per game. Whoops. What am I doing? Sorry, hit the wrong button here. Let's go back to where are we going here? Okay, here we go. Per game stats. So the most minutes played, J.R. Smith, but nobody got to 30, and no one even got to 29. Points, J.R. Smith 16, then Cousins. Rebounding, no one was above 7.3. Rondo, nice job, 7.3 assists there. Also 1.6 steals led the team. And Whiteside with 1.2 blocks. Dwight Howard with 1 coming off. Actually, both these guys were coming off the bench. 0 games started for those 2. And turnovers, not terrible. Not too terrible, at least. So that's how the team looked just kind of as a whole. Let's go ahead and run this one more time and see if we're close to that 32 win mark again. Before we do this second simulation, I wanted to give a quick shout out to KNConWD, who is a design that I downloaded and used. Now, we're not obviously playing games or anything here, but I thought this looked really sharp. There's a ton of different designs, of course, up in the 2K share section of this game, and certainly plenty for Vegas, as well, as they are to be one of the most popular and rumored teams to be getting an expansion team in the NBA. So that is the team that we went and used. Super cool there. And let's go in and just make one adjustment here. This time we're going to go a little bit more realistic, I guess, with injuries on. And you'd think that this may affect all teams the same and it wouldn't matter, but I actually think this is going to affect the Outlaws more because they're already a pretty bad team. One little injury could completely derail this team. Other than that, everything is set exactly the same. Let's let it rip here and get through this next season and see if we can get to 32 wins or if we'll be worse than the 31 we are at in the first simulation. So early on here, 5 and 10. We're going to disable those again. So we're hovering just below 30 right now, 30% that is, and fading a little bit here. We're now at about 25% win percentage. Need to be closer to around that 40% range or so, 39% or so. Currently 9 and 21. Chemistry, again, through the roof. Highly recommend adjusting that in your, if you want a realistic My NBA experience, definitely bump that slider up, make it more challenging. So 10 and 27, it's not looking good. I wonder if we've had some injuries or anything like that going on. Fan interest, again, kind of hovering around where it was in the last sim. When the team had a really good home record, above 500. Terrible on the road, though. Currently 11 and 35. It's definitely not looking good. The team chemistry, again, through the roof. But 13 and... They're 14 and 38 right now, 14 and 40. We've hit the trade deadline. Again, other teams may be making deals. We are not. We're just seeing if Ben's roster here can withstand the test of 5 months or whatever it is. But it's not looking good on this sim. They're 65, 70 games now in or so, just at 21 wins. Definitely had some better dice rolls, I guess, in the first simulation we tried with this. Chemistry is just cracking me up. This team loves it. They just love each other. Things are good. We can check out the awards again real quickly. I'm not expecting to see anybody, not even like a sixth man or anything like that, as far as Las Vegas is concerned. And yeah, no surprise there. No surprise also that we did not make the playoffs, even in the expanded playoffs. But let's see how we did in this simulation. So now we still had some teams worse than us, just 30.5% winning percentage there, 25 and 57. So well short this time of the 32 games. with injuries on. This time we were far worse at home, almost as bad on the road. This is just a worse team, right? The point differential is about 3 points different. And so, yeah, just this team just did not hold up, and you'd think that injuries would have played a role in this. They're the third worst team in the West, and in the East, well, they'd be the worst team. So they are the third worst team overall. So certainly would be a fun thing to kind of pick up and go forward with here when you entered in the draft lottery and things like that. If we go and look at some player stats here, again, games played, 82. We had 3 players that made it. Cousins played and started in every single game. Whiteside off the bench every game. Griffin started a few. Let's see, minutes played per game. J.R. Smith gets over 30 minutes per game, I should say. Points per game, 19.9. Isaiah Thomas, 15.2. Again, rebounds, 3 guys with 7. That's not too bad. 5 assists only average this time for Rondo. So again, you'd think maybe some day-to-day injuries, that kind of thing could be playing a role here. But our team of free agents, it's not awful. It seems like every time you run this, because I actually did this a few times offline just to kind of test it out before I started recording, and it was very, very similar. There was always a few teams that was better than, but overall, it's certainly not a great team. But I do think it's a really cool starting point. And I think you could actually have a lot of fun with this. And so what I might do here is actually upload a scenario with this. So if you want to continue and maybe jump into the second season with this Outlaws team, go for it. And you can let us know how it goes and kind of what you do with this team. So I'll create a scenario as a starting off point for anyone who's interested in doing that. Just search for my username, MikeLowe47. That's also my Twitter handle, MikeLowe47. And yeah, I appreciate you guys checking this out. Do subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos like this. And if you have requests, I do read those requests and I do try to fulfill certain requests with videos like this. I think these are a lot of fun. So that's not just lip service. So please reach out, connect with me. I love the sports gaming community and just all we're able to do together. All the good and the bad, I guess, mixed in there. So there's just lots of really cool stuff we can do. So I appreciate checking out this video and I will see you next time.